Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're looking at the Argo GX Security Droid here. Looking at Wikipedia for what they have listed, the Argo GX Security Droids are a model designed by the Argo Corporation. They were equipped with body armor, wrist blasters, two auto balancing legs, two arms. They stood about 1.8 meters tall and were humanoid in shape. They cost roughly about 9,000 credits, but were restricted to government and militaries. The model was introduced to compete with the security droids made by um, Arcade Industries and Cybot Galactica. But the Galactic Empire determined that the series was too lethal for commercial sale, a decision seemingly justified when Corellian criminals reprogrammed one of the droids, leading it to almost assassinating the uh, dictat. The the resulting bad publicity by Aro out, put Aro out of business, with the remaining droids ending up in the black market. The model was banned from the Corellian system, but the Moffs, admirals, and high admirals, along with Hydian Way illegal, along the Hydian Way, I should say, illegally maintained security forces made up of the model. The bounty hunter Segus 12 owned and okay, well, it seems kind of the seems kind of odd here to say the bounty hunter Segus 12 owned an Argus GX designed um, or designated GX 99. So it almost sounds like a droid, but different different groups have different names. So just kind of stumbling over that a little bit. So looking at all this, this is one from sources wanted by Kraken, which is from West End Games, and Cybar's Fantastic Technology Droids, again, is from West End Games here. So that's where we're getting all this information on Wikipedia. And of course, we have our book here that we're going to right now. So, listed in the book from our GX Security Droid, this has a dexterity of 3D, so it is above average for dexterity compared to most humanoids. Has a blaster of 6D, a dodge of 8D, and running of 4D. So this is actually a very potentially lethal droid in and of itself. Has a knowledge of 1D, mechanical of 1D, and perception of 1D. So not the best in those. It's still, I mean, it's below our basic average of 2D being our average. So whenever you're just looking at a generic, you just give everything a 2D. Uh, so we are below our average here, but it does have a search of 4D plus 2. Has a strength of 1D, so not the most sturdiest of beings. Really, this comes into play when you're shooting at it. It does have body armor, so that will kind of change things up here. So, without the body armor, it would only have a strength code of 1D to try and defend itself. But it does have a lifting of 3D. We have a technical of 1D, which is a little below average again, but it has computer programming slash repair at 3D plus 2, has droid repair of 4D, and a security of 5D. So, in those areas, it does excel a little bit better. It is equipped with body armor, which gives it a plus 3D to strength to all locations. So now, when you're shooting at it, because of the body armor, that means you're shooting at something with a 4D body strength. So, whatever you roll, if you're going off of traditional, in order to kill it, you have to get 3 times that amount. Now, if you've seen how I typically play, I like to give everything a set hit point, and then like the body armor, I would give that a different hit point to negate any uh, damage coming through. But that's how I do it because I'm basing that off of um, the resurgence with West End Games when they had done uh, D6 Fantasy, D6 Adventure, and D6 space and that. It comes from that part of the system. Uh, but in the regular West End games, it didn't have that in there. Now, however you decide to play it, a 4D in between your strength and your armor is pretty respectable. So let's, it is what it is. Wrist blasters, they do 3D damage at a range up to 100 meters. So it's not the most overly powered, but it is something there. Two auto balancing legs, and then of course 2 arms. So it gives a very humanoid um, presence in whatever facility to try and guard, maintain, or whatever else. And really having wrist blasters doing 3D damage is not that bad. It's not overly powered for a security droid. It's pretty decent. It's not sitting there saying you're gonna make something go kersplat whenever you shoot at it. So, um, it's I think it's a pretty good damage range for something in just a security presence. Because usually, whenever we're talking about something for a military sense, it would have a 5D for damage. So, looking at it in that regard. Okay, so it has a move of 10, which makes it our galactic standard uh, for our beings being able to move. Has a size of 1.8 meters, so it's about toe to toe with our average galactic citizenry. Cost is 9,000 credits for military and governmental use. Now, not to say that maybe if you didn't have a security firm or whatever that was working for the government, you could possibly get something like this. And of course, all this comes from Xenobar's fantastic technology droids, and it was also mentioned in Kraken's threat dossier. So, with that's our droid. It's an interesting droid. It's an interesting take. It's not bad, and even with all the droids and everything else, some of the other things that can happen is we can always reprogram these. There are lists on doing that in the old books. So even if you had a droid that had excelled at one thing, or you wanted playing uh, shoot, I can't think of the name of the card game offhand. Uh, but if you want it in a card game, you could always have it reprogrammed for something else. So, with that, I hope you're having a wonderful day. It's always great having you come and visit by. We'll see you in the next video.